wiping off the earpieces. And I'm going to ask Craig to put it in his ears, and the first person to use the stethoscope very gently touch the stethoscope to make sure that it's working. We've had the case where someone's gotten all set up and then we find out the stethoscope isn't working. Usually we can fix that pretty readily, but sometimes that happens. So check it out, make sure that part's working. Very gently, not loud. You hear something? Okay, good. So put them around your there you go. Now doesn't he look very doctorial or nurse-like? The other thing you probably want to do is you want to have the stethoscope situated like this. So see how it's hanging down? You'll find it's easier instead of twisting and turning if you have it like that. Okay.
Oh, you're going to
Yep.
Hi, Craig.
Hello, Craig.
I'm going to be taking your blood pressure today.
Oh, joy.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
Doing quite well yourself.
Good, pretty good.
Excellent.
Alright, so I'm going to ask you to just rest your arm, just relax.
Okay.
Now sometimes if you don't have a table like this, you'll see that once people get the blood pressure cuff on, excuse me for just a second, they'll sort of hold your arm like this, okay? Because you do want somebody to be relaxed. Because when you go like this, that increases your blood pressure rate. Oh, I'm sorry. You do it on your choice. So I'm going to have your left arm. So sometimes what they'll do is you have such little arms. Like this. Yeah, you hold it up against your hip. And you can do it that way. It's better if you have a table though. It's not as strenuous. So there are arrows that explain to you or show you where the blood pressure cuff should be. You want to have the blood pressure cuff above the crease in the elbow. You want to make sure that all the air has been squeezed out.
Is it snug?
It's kind of loose, actually.
Try to get it as snug as possible. Now realize that when you pump it up, you're going to probably pump it up to about 180. And that's going to be uncomfortable for the person. So you want to very slowly release the valve, pump it up, place your stethoscope on this part of their arm towards the inside, more towards their body. And you're going to then put it in place. You're going to pump up to about 180. And you're not going to leave it there. Oh, this one's not good. Okay, so this is not a good cuff, and we're going to have to work on this one. So let's take this off, and let's put another cuff on it. That shouldn't happen right away. It shouldn't just pump up on one part. The entire cuff should pump up. These were brand new, but I don't know what to say. So I need to remember. Okay. This side against one. All right. So the two pieces of rubber tubing you want to have on either side of the arm, they should lay out untangled. If you're a righty, then you're going to pump up and have two fingers, if I can demonstrate here. So you're going to pump up here with your two fingers and then hold it like this. Do you see that? Because what you're going to do is then slowly release with this. So you might even want to make, I can't do that, you have to do that. If you can loosen that up a little bit. You want to loosen it up, make sure it's a little bit loose before, and then retighten it. Give your stethoscope there. just released it. He pumped it up to over 180, and then you slowly release it.
And you're counting.
Hold on, hold on. What was this?
It looked to be like 125 over like 85.
Okay. Within the normal range, a little bit high, but that may be for a lot of different reasons. So what happens is when you pump it up over 180, you very slowly turn this turning piece here, like so, and very slightly, because you want to be able to hear the first thump, okay? And it could come at any time, so you need to be watching the gauge while you're very slowly letting the air out, so it'll go thump, 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 thump. And then it just stops. So you aren't going to have any warning. It's not going to necessarily change in sound. So you need to be watching the gauge as it comes down and sort of tracking what that last number was, because you don't know when it's going to stop doing that. Okay? So let me tell you again. You guys probably want to come close. You want to get up and come right here?
Are you saying the thump is the heart rate?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
What happens is that the pressure of the cuff exaggerates that heart rate.
Okay, and then you have to listen to that until it stops.
So typically, we wouldn't do the same limb again, but I'm going to go ahead for now. So this says artery right here. So the artery is somewhere in this vicinity. Want to get it as tight as possible. Okay. You can attach this, but I actually like to put it here to have it at an angle where I can see. I'm going to hold this if you're right-handed. I would have the stethoscope on. I put the stethoscope right about here, more towards the medial side, towards the heart. Typically, probably right about in there. Then you pump it up like this, and very slowly, I have my stethoscope there, very slowly I'm going to release it, and I'm going to be waiting to hear that first thump. That's the top number. Thump, 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 and then it'll just stop. And that's your bottom number.
So you keep releasing it?
Keep releasing it, yeah. If you've got it at a fairly steady pace, then you just keep slowly releasing it until you're at the end of it. But you do have to watch the gauge as it comes downward. Okay?
You were saying the top number is the number
On the top of the fraction.
Okay.
Yep. That's your top number. These days they've lowered those numbers considerably. It should be under 120. Some even suggest it should be lower than that. And the bottom number should be 80 or less. It's sort of borderline between 80 and 90. If it's over 90, that's of definite concern, and they often put people on blood pressure medication. Sometimes if it's between 80 and 90, they may try some other kinds of things like exercise and a change in what people are eating and watching their salt intake to try to see if they can manage it without medication, because there's a lot of side effects from the blood pressure medication. One of the other things to keep in mind with blood pressure is if you have a client who's been in bed and they've been in that semi-reclining position that you often see people in hospitals, you don't want to get them up right away. You may want to, if they've been lying down, you want to bring them up to a semi-recline, then bring them up all the way and see how they're doing, if they feel lightheaded or not. If not, then you probably want to have them sit on the side of the bed, wait a few minutes to see if they're feeling lightheaded, and if they're not, then you can go ahead. Particularly if you're a therapist and you're wanting to get somebody up, you want to do that progression. Sometimes in the hospital, they'll take the blood pressure in a semi-reclining position because they're just doing a baseline. But if you're going to be getting somebody up, I'd recommend that transition and actually take their blood pressure before they stand up. Okay? Okay, so why don't, who would like to practice once on crit since we have them all set up?
I will.
All right, Rena. You want to clean off your earpieces? We're going to take this off too.
Are we able to practice?
Yes. Here, give us some practice so our get speaker cups.
Okay. So there's just the one cup?
No, I have a box full. The box is going to be up in the computer room upstairs, and so if you have time, grab a partner and go and do some practicing. Okay, so put it around your neck so you don't get the feedback right away. There you go. Put on the blood pressure cuff. This side against limb.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I move it up a little bit more, above the elbow. There we go. Slide it up a little bit, because we want it above the elbow. Hold on just a second. Here we go. Okay, tighten. Okay. Now you can put your earpieces in. Put the stethoscope.
Put this where.
Okay. Fortunately, it doesn't matter. Fortunately, it's just put your stethoscope more towards the medial side. Okay. Right-handed?
Do I hold it?
Yes. Are you right-handed?
Yeah.
Then hold this with your left.
Do I hold it like that?
Uh-huh, with your left.
Okay.
Grab this. It really is an act in
Bilateral coordination.
yes, it is.
Am I supposed to hear his pulse?
No, because you haven't pumped it up. So hold it like this so you're able to use your thumb. Okay, so you can go like this when the need comes. Okay, so pump it up to 180. First, you may have to tighten this valve all the way clockwise to tighten it. Let's do it even tighter. Okay, now keep pumping. Okay, now slowly loosen. And he's going, please, please loosen. Keep loosening. You can loosen more. Loosen more. Loosen more. Okay, and now open it up.
122/66.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so somewhere in between there. We're not going to torture him anymore, but I would like you to try at least 2. Didn't that hurt your ears? That's why I encourage you not to use it right away. So why doesn't everybody take a cup, grab a partner?
That sounds about right.
Obviously, if at all possible, if you have a shirt,
Can I bring this on?
you want to be able to push the shirt up. If it's too tight, then that's probably not a good thing for the person to wear. So starting next week, or if you're going to practice with somebody, make sure they have a loose enough shirt that they can move it up to here and not have it restrict. Now, if somebody's is overweight and they have larger arms, or if they're a weightlifter and they have really big biceps, you may have to get a larger cuff. And they have a bariatric cuff, and for little kids, they have a smaller cuff. Or for someone who's very slight, like, sorry, Toy, we might need to get a smaller cuff for someone like her. Okay? Okay.